Thank goodness you all made it back. Is anyone hurt?
We're fine, my lady.
As you can see, we couldn't be healthier.
We kicked 10 tons of golem butt! Oh, I'm so relieved. You are worried about us? Of course. I don't know what I would have done if you had gotten hurt on my behalf.
Facing that pain is one of the gravest duties of leadership.
It sure isn't easy.
No, it is not. But as long as you feel pain at the suffering of your people, they will always be there to support you.
I'll do my best. Just as Klein did.
It might be difficult, but we know you can do it.
I'm sorry I can't give you the rewards you deserve. Wait, I know. I'll brew up some of my finest tea. Come, let's have a tea party.
I couldn't ask for a finer reward.
Throw in some of those little cakes and you've got a deal. The wyverns are gone. Maybe they were eaten by monsters.
I doubt it. There aren't many monsters capable of taking down a wyvern.
What should we do now? Jurgen entrusted them to our care.
Don't worry. Wyverns are very intelligent monsters. It is quite possible they merely move to avoid danger. I'm sure Jurgen will understand once we explain the situation to him.
I hope so.
Me too.
It's difficult to believe this whole area used to be a dry wasteland.
We were taught a great tsunami did this 20 years ago. It was right when the former king of Azul was leading his army into battle against Rashagal. Wait, Rowan, you were a tactician in that battle, weren't you?
Yes, I was. It's hard to believe it's already been so long. This is the place where Princess Carrie died.
Princess Carrie?
Noctigal's younger sister. Rowan told me about her before. She was killed during the succession dispute between Noctigal and his brothers.
Even he wouldn't dare to defy her. If she was still alive, Rashagal's history would have turned out quite a bit differently.
She must have been a fearsome woman if she could keep Noctigal in check.
Quite the opposite. She was a gentle, easygoing soul. Noctigal was always at his kindest around her, but her gentle demeanor masked an indomitable spirit. The meek had no greater ally than her. She even chose to accompany the army as a medic, so that she could save as many lives as possible.
A princess working as a medic? She must have been one hell of a woman.
Unfortunately, her story did not end happily. Their brothers feared Noctigal would distinguish himself by leading Rashagal to victory. So instead, they revoked his authority to lead the army just before the battle began. In his place, they sent an incompetent buffoon of a general, who squandered every advantage Rashagal had.
Why would they do that?
They must have feared Noctigal more than their own enemies. Just as Rashagal was facing defeat, the tsunami came and forced the remnants of both armies to retreat. But Princess Carrie's unit was among the unlucky ones that were caught in the wave. It was a grave error on my part. Amidst the confusion, I didn't notice that her unit was in the path of danger. If I had given her unit clearer orders, Carrie would still be alive.
Wait a minute. Were you two together?
We were worlds apart in both age and class, but we had pledged our futures to each other. Noctigal was the only one who approved of our union, but that's an old story, and one perhaps best forgotten.
Excuse me, have you seen an elderly woman around here? I was out shopping with my mother, but we got separated. Her hair and eyes look just like mine.
Unfortunately, we don't know this city very well.
There you are, Lem. What are you doing here? What sort of child is still getting lost when she's 18 years old?
Me? You're the one who got lost. Did you forget where we were supposed to meet?
Oh, did I?
Honestly, I don't know how you keep a nursing job when you can't even stick to a simple schedule. It's nice to see that Olympians are as human as we are.
No kidding.
Carrie? Carrie, it's you. You're alive.
Wait, Noctigal's sister?
Oh, yes, my name is Carrie. But I'm afraid I don't know who you are.
You don't?
I'm sorry. I can't remember anything from my childhood. When I washed up on a beach here 20 years ago, all I could remember was my name.
Wait, do you know who my mother used to be?
No. I merely met her once before, when I was working with her husband.
Oh, are you in the military too?
Forgive me for not recognizing you. You meet so many people as a soldier's wife.
No apologies necessary. It was a long time ago. May I ask where your husband is?
He's away on an expedition right now. I haven't heard from him in a long time. But I'm not worried. Ever since he found me 20 years ago, Julius has never broken a promise he's made to me.
Mom, could you stop gushing to complete strangers?
Okay. But it is true, you know.
Come on, we need to get going. Nice meeting you all.
Hey,
When the schism was breached 20 years ago, the tsunami must have brought Carrie all the way here to Olympias.
Aren't you going to go after her?
I don't know what I would say to her after all these years. I don't even know how to feel about this. I hope Lady Dressel is faring well.
Why not go to the manor and see?
Dressel must be worried sick about you.
Oh, worried about me? Oh my. I do hope she doesn't perceive me as being that old.
Exactly the people I was hoping to see. We just captured one of the soldiers from that airship.
Wow, how'd you pull that off?
Actually, he seems like a pretty strange guy. He actually turned himself in. He said he'd like to speak to Rowan. His name is Julius. Do you know him?
Lady Dressel, would it be possible to see him now?
You must be Rowan.
At your service. And you must be Carrie's husband, Julius.
I should have known the conductor would already know the score.
You give me too much credit. Carrie and I merely met by chance in Olympias once. My question is, how do you know about me?
Carrie had a ring with your name engraved on it when I met her. When I saw her using calculatrix without a spyrix, I knew she had to be from the other world. I volunteered for the Otherworld Reactor Plan expedition, so I could learn more about her past.
Why would you risk so much? You already know she loves you.
Because I hid the ring from her, the one with your name on it. I didn't want her to have anything that would remind her of her past. I'm a coward who took advantage of her amnesia in order to steal her heart.
I saw for myself how deeply Carrie loves and trusts you. It was clear from the way she smiled. Even 20 years ago, I'm not sure I could have ever done anything to make her smile like that. Julius, you must make it back to Olympias alive. Your wife and daughter are waiting for you. Your only sin is abandoning the people who love you.
But there isn't any way for me to get back.
Not to worry. We will escort you home ourselves. In fact, I insist upon it. However...
There's no telling how long the dimensional breach will last. We should hurry.
Thank you.
Rowan, it's been an honor to meet you.
The honor is all mine. So Julius made it back to his family safely?
Yeah. Carrie was overjoyed to see him.
You should have gone with them.
Oh no, that simply wasn't possible. The way my back has been acting up.
Well, that won't do. You must take better care of yourself.
That voice. Carrie.
I just had to come and thank you all in person. Thank you so much. If it wasn't for you and your friends, we might never have seen Julius again. Rowan, how have you been?
My beard's a bit longer, but other than that, not much has changed. And yourself?
Apart from a few more wrinkles, nothing.
Those aren't wrinkles. Those are laugh lines. You seem very happy.
I am. You do too.
Oh, yes. Spending time with so many young folk makes me feel a few decades younger myself.
That's wonderful. But do take care of yourself.
I will. Thank you.
Rowan.
Are you sure about this?
Please cheer up.
How could I possibly think myself unlucky in love when I have 3 lovely ladies looking after me? Now then, let us be off.
I hope I grow up to be someone like you, Rowan.
Then you'll need another 50 years of training. It's not as easy as it looks.
No way! I can see now. Thank you so much. Oh, really? That's wonderful.
Wait, aren't you from Riza Maxia?
You all are too?
How did you get here?
Hey, can you believe it? I can see now. It's all thanks to this spy rite this lady made for me.
They're already making spy rites?
This must be Balin's doing.
Whoa, this place is amazing!
We're getting some very valuable data here, all thanks to the cooperation of these Riza Maxians.
Have you learned something?
Oh yes, many things. For example, we've confirmed that Olympians and Riza Maxians are biologically identical.
Really? But I thought Olympians didn't have manalobes.
As it turns out, Olympians have the same manalobe region that Riza Maxians do. The only difference is that ours has devolved to the point where it no longer functions.
Makes sense. Sometimes you got the lucky ones who can still use arts without Spyrix.
It's very, very rare, of course. They're usually famous entertainers or religious figures.
So why did your manalobes devolve in the first place?
One reason is that we no longer needed to use them once we developed Spyrex. But the biggest reason
Is that Maxwell took all the people with developed manalobes when he created Riza Maxia.
Correct. In legends, this is referred to as the Great Departure. When Riza Maxia's existence was confirmed, and we learned that the legend was true, it was a huge surprise, not just in scientific circles, but to all people of Olympias.
So basically, we're all the same kind of human, and we're all from the same world, right? Then I'm sure we can all work together, just like you guys are doing here. Oh. What's the matter?
Wait a minute. How did these people get to Olympias?
Well,
Given the current circumstances, there is only one possible explanation.
They were brought here under duress after your military invaded Riza Maxia, correct?
What's duress?
As an Olympian, I apologize for the actions of our military. But I promise you their rights have not been violated. They're cooperating with us of their own free will.
What else could we do? There's no way for us to go home.
Really? I kinda like it here, to be honest with you. Back there, I was just a fisherman. But here, I can help save an entire world. If this research succeeds, the repercussions will be huge. Right, Dr. Balin?
Absolutely. And I'll make sure you're properly rewarded for your cooperation.
We don't need your rewards. Just get us back to Riza Maxia. I know what we're doing here could help the people of this world. But is it so crucial that you had to rob us of our lives?
I know we're acting very selfish here. I do understand. But we Olympians are quickly reaching a point where we may not survive without help. Please, help us.
I'm sorry. No, I shouldn't have said that. This shouldn't have been one of the first things for you to see. I'm sorry.
I've never seen Balin so desperate.
But the Riza Maxians do have a point.
Yeah,
In the end, we're all human. I guess that's what makes this so difficult.
Welcome home, Lord Maxwell.
Where is everyone?
They were besieged by a spirit.
Muse attacked this village after you died.
She did what?
I'm so sorry. I couldn't do anything.
Nor could I. In that regard, I am no better. Tell me the extent of the damage.
Of course.
So she killed the elders. I feared that she might.
You did?
They were the ones who had heard stories of the schism.
Muse said her duty was to kill everyone who knew about it.
But the elders only passed down stories. They had no idea that they were true. There was no reason to kill them over it.
I think Muse has lost sight of what she needs to do.
We have to stop her.
That is my duty.
Olympias doesn't seem to be any greener out this way.
Nope. Pretty much everywhere outside the cities is like this. If anything, it's a little worse than I remember it.
The lack of spirits must have broken the cycle of nature.
To the people of Olympias, this is what nature looks like. When I first laid eyes on the forests of Maxia, I could barely comprehend what I was seeing.
So this is the world that Spyrix has given you.
Go ahead and say it. We brought this on ourselves.
That may be true, but still.
Let me make sure I have this straight. We use boosters to infuse spirit fossils with mana, and then a Spyrite is born. Because unlike Spyrix devices, Spyrites can use arts without harming spirits.
Did you actually take notes while Balin was talking?
Yes, but there are still things I don't understand.
If there are things you actually do understand, then you're way ahead of me. I bet Teepo'd say, "Hey, you need to study, Leia!"
Ah, but after that he'd probably say, "I don't understand any of this either."
Probably.
Hey, no Teepo impersonations!
Ah, he heard us! You're both being rude.
Elise, do you understand Spyrite theory?
Of course I do.
He said he found us sprawled at the foot of this hill.
Let's look for a path down.
What's that?
We must have fallen from there to the bottom of the cliff.
Isn't the rift a little small?
My guess is it's about to collapse. Jumping back through would be a leap of faith.
Count me out! It looks too dangerous!
Let's head back to town and figure out another way.
Hey, everyone. If you plan on returning to Maxia, then I think it's time we parted ways.
What? What makes you say that all of a sudden?
I know that we pulled off a successful Spyrite tethering together, and we found out some great news. But I'm afraid the only way to stop Gaius at this point is to fight him. I don't want the way you feel now to get in the way of your true feelings.
I agree. If we can't be honest with ourselves about why we're fighting, then there's no point in fighting in the first place.
In other words, you want us to make our own decision.
It'll be a difficult ride ahead. I guess it only makes sense.
Mind if I have some more time to think? At least until you're all ready to leave?
Sure, of course.
Don't let your current emotions get in the way. I'm almost acting human.
Mila?
Sorry, it's nothing.
Wait, isn't this...
There's no way replacing everything Spyrix with Spyrites is gonna be easy as it sounds. In terms of raw numbers, just think of how many Spyrites we'll need.
It's true. The Spyrites need to be researched, created, distributed. It won't happen overnight.
There is much that needs to be done. But if we can't buy more time, the spirits will go extinct.
I will buy us time. Maxwell said it himself. If we remove the schism, the mana that it contains could sustain Olympias for a considerable amount of time.
And that's what you intend to do?
Yes, it is.
It's a long road ahead for all of us.
But the more pressing problem is Gaius. If we can't stop him, it'll be too late for Olympias.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Alvin?
Figured I'd stay away, since everyone's so sick of me.
Maybe because you're a big fat liar.
Yeah, that's just who I am, all right. And what about you, Elise? Wondering what to do?
Yeah. I just don't know what the right choice is.
Well, you're talking to the wrong guy. I don't know much about being a kid. Never really had a childhood.
So were you a member of Exodus ever since you were just a little boy?
Yeah, that's right. I thought it was okay to trick people. When things would go bad, I'd just disappear. I'd take the path of least resistance. I pretty much just did whatever didn't hurt me, that's all.
Then, does that mean you won't be going with Mila and Jude?
You know what? That kid forces me to wake up and smell reality. They're all just so mature, the way they hide their real feelings about me.
Oh, now I get it. You're lonely, aren't you, Alvin?
I've never been much for expressing my feelings, I suppose. But even if they do hate me, I have to stick it out. I'm not leaving this time.
So does that mean that you really want to be their friend again?
I've learned that building real trust with people takes a lot more work than you think.
Being a grown-up sounds like an awful lot of pain.
It seems like the older you get, the tougher it is to share your feelings with others. Anyway, no one will want to be friends with me until I can make the first move. It's hard, but it sure beats being alone.
I wonder what I'm supposed to do now. What do I have to do to become happy?
Well, it's different for everyone. You just have to find what works for you. I'm sure you know what you want by now.
I guess so. It hasn't been easy, but I've learned a lot traveling with everybody. I know that. I definitely don't want to stop, that's for sure. I want to keep on learning more, and I want to make some new friends.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me.
Some help you are.
I told you, I'm the wrong guy to ask about this stuff. Sorry about that, kid. Huh?
That's a thank you. I just wanted you to know that from now on, I'm gonna be your friend, okay?
How come the kids are the wisest people in this group?
trouble sleeping, young miss?
Yeah, I still haven't made up my mind. What about you?
I've reached a decision. I have decided to go with them.
I see. I wonder if I'm the only one who's still on the fence.
You're not alone.
Huh?
When Lord Klein passed away, I inherited the keys to the kingdom along with many doubts.
But eventually you figured out what to do, right? I used to think that everything works out if you do your best, but I've been proven wrong every time.
Does Agria still haunt you?
I keep thinking there might have been something else I could have done for her.
I know that feeling well.
Oh, you mean with King Noctigal?
Am I that easy to read? Let me tell you, life does not become any simpler the older you get. But I must say, I am a bit surprised by you.
In what way?
I was under the impression that Jude was the one who occupied your every waking thought.
Come on now, don't be silly. Is it obvious?
Yes, I'm afraid it is.
You know, I once thought that if I became a nurse, that I might find happiness. After all, when Jude's happy, I'm happy. Simple enough, right? But now, I'm starting to get the feeling that Jude just might be better off without me. I mean, I don't want to get in his way again, you know?
Leah, would you like to know what my reasons are and why I've decided to go along with Jude and Mila?
Are you willing to tell me?
I would like to be there to walk with them in the future that they wish to create.
That sounds like you.
But that's not all.
Huh?
I plan to take the lead and pull the two of them along behind me. That is my true desire.
And I? What do I really want?
I think you already know your answer, miss.
What I really want is to see Jude's smiling face again. I suppose that's it. That's a good reason, isn't it?
Hey. Don't you want to sit?
You've changed.
Not really. To be honest, I'm so scared I can't even sleep.
I told you before, if we can just dispel the schism, I'll handle everything from there. There's no reason for you to be afraid.
Mila! If the schism disappears, so will the temporal crossroads, right?
Yes. The destruction of the schism means the death of Maxwell. The temporal crossroads were born from Maxwell and that unique spirit climb, so they will vanish too.
Why? Why didn't I realize what's happened to you? I know. You never told me because you wanted me to find my own answer first. Isn't that right? Mila?
It was just easier for me that way.
Huh?
The entity known as Maxwell is essential for the spirits. So they will need a new Maxwell.
Then we won't be able to stay together anymore?
The sadness of parting is a human emotion. Such emotions no longer apply to me.
And there's no other way, is there?
Maxwell created me, so perhaps he could restore my human body. Jude, is that what you really want? Let's create a new future for all the spirits and people in the world. And let's create it together.
Together. Thanks. Gaius!
Is Muse with you?
Just relax. I've come here to tell you something, and that's all.
Then talk.
We are ready to commence our operation to wipe out every Spyrix in Olympias.
So your attack from before was just to check whether Spyrites were usable?
Exactly.
You came here to tell us that?
No. Listen. You have a dream for the future of the world that is vastly different from mine. So...
You plan to fight us here?
This is a piece of Muse's power.
The power to slice through space?
What of it?
Here, I give you a chance to return to Riza Maxia quietly if you choose to.
You'd still offer us a chance to end things peacefully.
Gaius, you know full well that we can't walk the same path. Not anymore.
So you say. But I wonder if Mila agrees with that.
Why should I? What makes you think I've wavered?
One can only handle so much. Take Muse, for example.
What about her?
She is very torn. She has incredible power, yet she knows not how to use it. In hindsight, I was cruel to force such a weak person to become strong so suddenly.
You want to save her too, don't you?
Along with the rest of my people. Stand down, and I will take over.
Your words cannot shake my will, nor can they alter my mission. It remains unchanged, even after all this time.
I see.
Jude. Our choices matter. They're meaningful for precisely that reason, because they're our choices. Following the will of others will lead nowhere. That's why our choice right now is more important than our own survival. So Jude, please. Watch over me so that I stay on my path until the very end.
Yes, I promise. Sleep well?
Yes.
That might have been the best sleep I've had in my entire life. I was dead to the world.
I decided I'm coming with you. I won't bore you with my reasons, though.
Thanks, Leia. Let's do our best.
Yep.
I'm coming too. And me 3.
I shall accompany you as well.
Wouldn't do for the only Olympian here to sit this one out.
So you've made up your minds.
Then there's something we need to tell you. Check this out.
Nifty knife.
Gaius brought this to us last night. He called it a piece of Muse's power.
Does that mean we could use it to tear open the breach?
Looks like it.
Gaius truly is inscrutable.
He's mocking us.
I don't think so. We might be fighting against one another, but he's a good guy.
Nice to see her actually talking to me.
Well...
I appreciate it. Thanks.
You're welcome.
It's a bummer there's nobody here to send off the heroes.
That shouldn't be a problem.
We'll just have to accept that we're unsung heroes.
Who needs an adoring crowd? Let's have a pre-battle cheer.
If you insist.
Couldn't hurt.
Make sure to put some feeling into it.
Indeed.
Here goes nothing. Everyone, let's finish what we started.
Muse seems to have fallen completely under Gaius's control.
I'd say it's more that Muse has finally found someone she can rely on. She had been yearning for someone to guide her.
That girl has some big-time dependency issues.
She's like my own dark shadow. I wish we could have met under different circumstances.
Whatever the nature of their relationship, Muse's ability to manipulate dimensional space is now in Gaius's hands. That is no trivial matter.
Agreed. Even the great spirits are no match for a blade that can sever dimensional barriers.
That doesn't sound promising. Should we turn tail and run away?
Yes, let's do that. Do you really think I would say such a thing?
Of course not.
You know me well.
Have you heard the news? The Sven family finally settled on a new patriarch.
Took them long enough. Didn't the old patriarch die in that Zenithra accident 20 years ago?
Along with his wife, son, and younger brother. Talk about a tragedy.
Hey, the real tragedy was the heirs fighting for his title. That sure wasn't pretty. That only lasted, what, close to 2 decades?
Nothing like a family feud to brighten up a day.
Tell me about it. You wouldn't want to be anywhere near when me and my daughter-in-law fight.
Definitely wouldn't want to see that.
Sven? Hey, Alvin?
Yep, that's my family. They're pretty famous here in Olympias.
And where does Gillen fall?
He was my dad's little brother, and the head of one of the lesser Svent lines. He always resented my family for having the stronger position in the line of succession. But then my dad died in the accident that left us stranded on Riza Maxia, leaving a young me and my helpless mother to fend for ourselves.
And Gillen saw that as a chance for revenge.
Worse. He took advantage of the situation and tried to legally steal my claim to the family leadership. He used the Sven name to create Exodus and push the Otherworld reactor plan. All so that when he eventually came back to Olympias, he could claim the family mantle for himself.
He spent 20 years scheming from a whole other world?
Yep. Even I got to admire my uncle's persistence.
So if we hadn't stopped him,
I'd probably have been erased the moment his plan succeeded.
What about now? Are you gonna go back home?
You heard the ladies. There's no place for me there anymore. Besides, I've been a feral dog for too long now. I couldn't rejoin the noble elite.
Then...
You're all stuck with me.
Oh.
You could at least try to hide your disappointment.